So with the recent addition of trophy lodges as well as Truax soon to come for the Hunter Call of the Wild, I imagine there are quite a lot of new players coming to the community right now. So I wanted to do a tips video to try to make the overall playing experience better, but there's a lot of those out there right now. So I thought what I would try to do instead is come up with the 5 best tips that I think are not well known throughout the community. So if you've been around the channel for a while, you might have heard me talk about these at one time or another. Hopefully they can still be helpful to you, and if you have any other tips that I don't cover, feel free to leave them in the comments below, because I'm sure someone here could definitely use them. And these are in no particular order, so we'll just start with number 5, which is to check the map for additional information on tracks. Now, most of us know about Zack tactics and using the weights for help with diamonds and all that good stuff. If you don't know, we have other videos on that in the community, but what I'm referring to specifically is for droppings and disturbed vegetation. Now, since disturbed vegetation is a optional skill, we'll go with droppings first. So when you get a droppings track, you get the age of the track and you get the species. If you open the map, you gain access to one additional piece of information, which is the gender, so whether it's a male or a female. That is really useful because pretty much every species, only one or the other can make diamond, other than, I think, only Gemsbug. So if you get the female droppings, it's probably a good one to go and check the weight of the tracks and see if it's worth continuing to follow. And Disturbed Veg is actually much the same, except with it, you get the age of the track and the fur type, so you don't know what species left it, and opening the map will tell you what that species is. So that's specifically useful for things like a dark brown lion, because kudu can also be dark brown. If you get nothing but a disturbed veg track, rather than running around just to find out you're only tracking a not very rare kudu, you could open the map and save yourself a lot of time. So moving on to number 4, which is that zone times for species are consistent for all animals of that species. So basically what I'm trying to say is if you get a zone from, let's just say these Cape Buffalo, which drink from 8:30 to 12, basically all Cape Buffalo are drinking somewhere on the map from 8:30 to 12. And animals usually do an action twice, so somewhere later in the day they probably drink. They'll feed actually earlier in the day and then later in the day again. Animals that are active at night usually rest through most of the daylight hours. They'll often rest 3 times, but most things they do twice. So this is actually really useful for getting hotspots, because let's say you like hunting a lion and you get a lion zone from noon till 3. What that probably means is you should check other lakes during that time frame to see if you get more spots where lions tend to drink, because all lions are probably drinking between noon and 3. Now, there is like a half-hour variance. You'll get zones like 12:30 to 3:30 or 12 to 3:30, but basically, during that general time frame, all lions are going to be drinking, and that goes for every species and every zone. So, like, all feed zones are consistent, all rest zones, all drink zones. It's really, really helpful for finding hotspots for animals. So on to number 3, which is that animals do not despawn from your map unless they've been shot. So what this means is you can literally be tracking an animal and have to leave and exit the game and everything, and you can come back the next day or whenever you get the opportunity, and it will still be out there. That does not mean, though, that this track's going to be in the same place, but he is somewhere on your map, and if you had a zone from him, going back to that zone during the appropriate time, as we just talked about, is probably a good way to locate him. And I think this is probably going to be commented, so I'll go ahead and address it. Yes, the animal does have to be harvested in order to despawn and get a new animal to spawn in its place. So I've seen videos in the community where if you mess up a shot on a diamond, you can actually restart your game and he'll be perfectly healthy and you can go get him. I don't recommend this. I think this just takes all the fun out of getting diamonds. Like, where's the intensity if you can't mess up because all you gotta do is restart? So yeah, that is the way it works, but don't do that. That just kills the fun. But anyway, number 2 is that multiplayer can be better for trophies and rares. Now, that tip itself is not unknown within the community, but there does seem to be a lot of confusion as to why that is. Because I get asked all the time, do diamonds spawn more in multiplayer? Do rares spawn more in multiplayer? Are there more animals? I don't actually know the answer to that for a fact. As far as I know, it's all the same as single player because it's from the host single player map. But the reason it does work is basically because everybody has their own favorite spot. Now, this isn't exactly the way it works, but I think this is going to be the best way for me to illustrate exactly what's going on here. So let's say you go to your favorite spot on the map every single day in your single player map, and let's just say there are exactly 20 animals there, and maybe you shoot 5 every day. And so when you come back the next day, there are 5 respawns in its place. That basically means you get to see 5 new animals every single time you go there. Now, animals don't respawn immediately, so you'd actually have to hunt other areas, but you get the point. So then let's say you go to a multiplayer server and go to that spot, there's going to be 20 new animals there. So hopefully you understand what I'm saying. There's all new animals in multiplayer where it's only respawns of what you shot in single player. So if you hunt enough multiplayer servers, you're bound to find something good. And the thing is, like, not everybody, as I said, has the same favorite spot. So you go to a multiplayer server, you might be hunting completely untouched ground that has good stuff on it. Or you might be hunting an area that's been all shot up and you're never going to find anything. That's the thing with multiplayer. But basically, you just join multiple servers every day. Every animal you see is a new animal. You never know what's out there. And that's the key to multiplayer as far as I know. I don't think there's any kind of special spawns for it. I think it is simply a matter of people have their own favorite spots, and if you join a server where maybe the host has his spots and your spots are entirely different and he's never been there, there could be good stuff in that spot. And finally, on to number 1, which is actually really useful for diamond hunting. Spooked animals return to their need zones 9 out of 10 times, including diamonds. So if you spook a diamond out of a need zone, as long as that need zone is still active, as long as you're still in the proper time frame for the need zone, he's probably coming back. Now, I'm not going to talk too much about this because Zaggy literally just did a video today where he actually did it with a diamond coyote. So if you want to see in action, you can go check that out. There will be a clickable link on the screen here in just a second because that is going to wrap up the video. So thank you guys for watching. Let me know if any of these tips were useful for you. And as I said at the beginning, if you have any tips for others, please leave them in the comments below. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.